Recon Athlete Podcast is brought to you by Kreitz Market, The Social, and Focus Fit San Marcos. All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 55. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucetto on his way. And the birthday boy, Mr. Snupe Daniel, in the green room. Happy birthday, Snoop.
Snoop, happy birthday.
He is 28, according to Bumble.
Word.
As he likes to say. Shout him out, man. Just the inspiration that Mr. Snupe Daniel is. You see it all over Twitter today.
Hell yeah.
All over Instagram. Everybody shouting out Snoop for his Bday. I'm glad it's his birthday now because I'm just glad that my birthday week is over. I had a great time. Shout out to everybody that showed up to my party on Saturday. Mm-hmm. We watched the fight up at Revelry. Shout out to Lockery for hooking it up there. And shout out to, of course, Michelle and Paul Partita for putting it on. Michelle Cunningham. And it was a great time, man. But it was about a week. It was about 10 days of just straight, celebrating my 40th.
It's a party. It's a party. It's a party.
It was fun, bro. I'm telling you, it was fun. But I mean, like I said, dude, I was almost relieved that it's over. I was texting Michelle the other night. I was like, is my weekend party week over yet? She was like, yeah, I think so. Hopefully, or thankfully.
Man, I'm trying to see what Snoop pushes out today or tonight on that social media because I want to wake up in the morning. I've been waking up at 5 a.m.
Really?
For about a week and a half now. I know for some of y'all out there, 5 a.m. isn't no big deal, but
that's a big deal.
But yeah, man, I've had some training going on this week, so I've been coming up north in your neck of the woods at our main office.
Okay.
And trying to avoid Austin traffic coming from the LOC, and so it's quite a trek, man. But it's been real, so I'm ready to get this show knocked out, go to bed, have sweet dreams. And then wake up and look at what the timeline looks like for Snoop Daniel's feed in the morning because that's what I want to look at. I want to see how much fun I'm living through vicariously through Mr. Snoop Daniel.
He was saying earlier it's a little bit cold out, so I don't know. We'll maybe after this, maybe we'll head up, say what's up to people at Revelry again, maybe get him started, and then let him finish it on his own because I got to work tomorrow morning, man. I'm sorry, but I got to work and I got the watch party going to. And shout out Snoop was the first one to join. I like how he did that. He's over there in the green room just sitting there. He's the first one to join the watch party. All right, with episode number 55, Recon Athlete, we're going to talk a little bit of Wilder Fury recap, some Dak Prescott, and then I also put on here other topics as assigned, and of course the happy birthday Snoop message on here. So, we can kick on it. We're gonna get a special guest. Mr. Casey Ramos, my cousin, the Wizard.
The Wizard, baby.
We'll get him on here in a few minutes to talk a little bit about the fight, what he thought about it. But, let's talk about it, between us. I know you were a little distracted because you were in a conversation with my buddy Mike Ayala. Shout out, Mike. But from what I saw from the beginning, it was all Tyson Fury. It was all just... I don't think Wilder really had a chance. He had a few good right hands, and it was just overhand right. That was his only plan. His only plan was that overhand right. That was the only thing that he came with. He couldn't really – he wasn't his jab wasn't working. He wasn't moving his feet. He was just getting – from the beginning, from the get, he was being walked down. He was being stalked. He was being hunted. And I think that was the first time that I've seen Deontay Wilder. I've seen him get pushed back. I've seen him, being kind of bullied a little bit, but he was always the bully. He was always the bull. He's always the guy that's coming out there and getting those hard shots in and never really getting taken into, as they say, the deep waters.
Right.
The way that Fury took Wilder in that fight. And after that first knockdown, which Wilder claims was an illegal punch, he says it was a legal punch. I don't see anything. It was basically to his ear. Mm-hmm. I guess it could be misconstrued as that, or it could be. Some people could say
that'd be a great question for the Wizard when he gets on here. That'd be a good question.
We'll talk to him here in a minute, but I'm going to say I don't know. To me, it was a good punch. and it put him down. And really, I really from that point, I think that was the beginning of the end. And I do want to say what's up to Colunga. He's on here. He said he told everyone that Fury was ready from the signing of the new fight. And Colunga is thrown in here. He said Fury was so relaxed in the back, joking around. He knew he was going to win from training camp to weigh in to stepping in the ring. So, there was a lot of people that were, and I think you were one of them, Paul, that were really on the Fury side, and you kind of were saying you were Fury all the way in this fight.
Well, I was more of I think it was more Wilder early on, and then kind of Fury like towards the end of it towards get to the fight. But for me, where this really all began was like at the end of round 12 in the previous matchup. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of speculation to say that punch to the back of the head or the ear was illegal and what have you. Do I think that played a role in the fight? You better believe it. But I believe that the nature in which Fury came out with, and like you said, he went on the attack. He became the predator because nobody has ever hunted down Wilder. Nobody's ever gone towards him. And I think that's his kryptonite. We all know Wilder's a brawler. He's not a boxer. And the sweet science that Fury has, being a humongous human being, is to me the difference in the fight. Fury said, let's stop being scared of this guy because of the thunder and lightning in that right hand. And let's develop a plan of attack to go forward. Gets rid of his trainer, goes into the nephew of Emmanuel Stewart, the late great Emmanuel Stewart, in the Kronk gym, and they're known for doing one thing. That is going on the offensive. Mm-hmm. And with the sweet science that Fury knows and has honed in, going against a brawler like Wilder was a total mismatch. And if you're a professional and you didn't buy up into the hype that Wilder was bringing to the fight, I think you totally understand and see how Fury won this fight, knowing and playing, being the technician that he was, because that's really what he put on. He put on a show of a pure boxing technical fight to defeat a very powerful human being. Some are claiming the most powerful right hand in boxing heavyweight ever. Mm-hmm. So that's here to be seen. We don't know what the future holds, but what we do know is that Fury won that matchup. And the only way for me that Wilder gets back on that's going to be a competitive nature is he's going to have to learn how to box. Yeah. And I don't think he'll be able to do that in the time frame that they're going to lot for the third round of this matchup, because you can't learn what Fury and a lot of professional boxers learn going back to their teenage years. It takes decades to learn that science. And I'm not a professional, but what I do know is when you know the sweet science, you can apply the sweet science. And if you don't know the sweet science, baby, you're going to get beat up. Yeah. And that's what happened the other night.
And shout out to Zach. He said to say sweet science again, Paul, and you said it 3 times.
You're welcome, Zach.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, but that's Deontay Wilder's style. I mean, he is the brawler. Yeah. That's why they call him the Bronx Bomber, because he goes in there and throws bombs. He ain't called the Bronx Boxer. That's not him. So, I mean, even in the first fight, I thought up until the point where he was able to put, or Wilder was able to put Tyson Fury down on the mat, I thought at that point Fury had won the fight in my opinion. It was close. Mm-hmm. I think I would have been okay with majority decision, split decision, but I think at that point Fury had won that fight until Wilder was able to put him down, and then I was okay with the draw. But I think the first fight, if Tyson Fury would have gotten that decision, I would have had no problem with that. I wouldn't, like I said before, I wouldn't have had a problem with Wilder getting the decision either because of the knockdowns. But I think, if I had to pick one, if it wasn't a draw, was a decision on the first fight, I would have said Fury won that fight.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So, we'll try to get up on there, and then let's go ahead and try to give Casey a call. And we are going to get a third fight. So Deontay Wilder had said that he is going to get the clause, or do the rematch clause right away to try to get that fight coming in in the summertime, I think. So, and we got All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Live. We've only taken like 1 or 2 calls, right?
I believe so.
Hello.
Yeah. Casey.
Hey, what's going on, Primo?
Hey, what's up, cuz? Hey, we got Casey Ramos, the Wizard, former top-ranked boxer, 24-1 was his record. He was active from 2007 to 2017. Actually, when he first started, his very first interview was with the birthday boy, Mr. Snupe Daniel.
Yes, sir. Word.
So everybody's got a connection with Snoop here in the ATX. What fight was that, by the way, Casey? Was that like your very first one?
Yeah, my very first fight. Actually, it was my pro debut, and it was put on by Richard Lord, a legend here in the Austin boxing scene. And he turned my uncle professional as well. He turned me pro, and he did a really good job about promoting the fight. He got it at the Irwin Center, and the Irwin Center actually had their own media personnel who took care of the interviews, and UT set up the interview initially with the old station. I believe it was the Beat 104.3, the Beat, and Snoop was a regular on it, man. He was one of the regulars, and he was just. I just remember him always just playing on the radio, and I just finally got to beat him. And then Small World, he's he's one of your best friends, man, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, roommate / best friend / mentor, I could say.
Yeah.
But Casey, you where did you watch the fight at on Saturday?
I was at a buddy's house, and a bunch of the fellas were over there, man, watching, checking it out.
Okay.
Trying to see what's going on, but yeah, man.
Initial reaction by you?
It was. I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect that. I thought I was going to see a different Wilder. But then, like, when I look at it in retrospect, it's not surprising. Me being a former I'm technically, got to keep it. I'm still technically with Top Rank. Yeah. So I'm a Top Rank fighter. I know how they work.
Yeah.
And when the ball is in Top Rank's court and they're the promoter, I mean, they win 90% of the time. So I look back at it, and they probably had full control of everything. They probably had full control of the ring size, the kind of ring, the mat, going down to the mats, the ropes, like in these high level fights, all of that stuff matters. So I'm sure they were controlling the schedule. I have a theory that they probably got Wilder to yell "bomb squad" as many times as he could within 48 hours of the fight, to drain his energy. Keep him going, keep him moving, keep him going all the press conferences at certain times. He trains in Vegas, he lives there. So he's acclimated to the weather. He's acclimated to the time. He's acclimated to the atmosphere. Just everything was in Tyson Fury's favor. But on top of that, he was also the better boxer, the better man, the bigger, stronger fighter in there. So everything just put together, man. It ended up how it ended up, and now it should have ended up. There's no excuses on Wilder's part. He gave an excuse. It's not. I don't know if it's an excuse, but his reasons were that one of the reasons was that he came in with a 40-pound suit on,
right? And
it was a little overboard, in my opinion. It would look cool, look badass. Excuse my language. I don't know.
No, good. Hey, it's a podcast.
All right. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it was a badass suit to me. I liked it, man. It looked cool. And I'm sure whenever you look cool, you feel cool. You perform under pressure like that. But he was blaming it on the suit, that it was 40 pounds and his legs were shot. But I recently just saw an interview saying that he trains with a 45-pound vest on. He does all these things, and so I think those are just reasons, and just in my opinion, Tyson Fury was the better fighter. I thought I was going to see a different Wilder. He didn't show up, and Tyson Fury is just overall the better boxer, bigger man. He had hometown advantage. Even though he's not from Vegas, but he lives there, he trains there. He lives in Manchester actually, but whenever he's training and stuff, that's his base camp. And tons of British people showed out too. So all those factors, man, added up to it. But the main factor, everything else aside, the main factor, Tyson Fury showed he was the better boxer, the bigger, stronger man, and he went and he did his job, man, and he won spectacularly, with the knockout.
Hey Casey,
Hey Casey,
it's Paul Rodriguez, brother. Hey man, I had a quick question. Being a top ranked fighter and being in these high level situations and these top promotions, one thing I noticed going into the fight was when Wilder showed up, they made him kind of go through like a service entrance. Do you think, or would you put it past Bob Arum to make his non-fighter take extra lengths of distance to get to his locker room, or do you think do things differently?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like I said, man, they have control of everything, and at this high level, all those little things add up. All those little sets, all the extra press conferences, all the scheduling. You know, like I said, I have a theory that they were trying to get him to yell "Bomb Squad." You know, that's something. Even though it doesn't like seem like it.
Yeah,
Wilder's a high energy guy, and so when he's yelling like that, he's putting all his might into it. You know what I mean? So. Like Paul was saying, the walk into the entrance. I believe they had him walking in from like the back entrance where like Club Hakkasan is, all the way to like the front where the arena is. You know, that's a huge casino.
Yeah,
and man, these guys know what they're doing. Bob Arum, Top Rank, they've been around since the beginning. They're probably the foremost combative promotional company in the world. And everybody else is just riding the coattail, from past fights, from what they've done in the past, and now everybody's like, no, well, I'm the head hog, or I'm the big dog, or whatever. But really, I mean, Top Rank, nope. I mean, who else out there has put on the top level fights that Top Rank put on? I mean, you're talking about Muhammad Ali, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, all of these top level fighters that they've been doing this for years. So they know what they're doing. They put on plenty of heavyweight fights. So, I mean, they've got a formula, and they got it down to a science. And like I said, when the ball is in their court, they're going to win pretty much 90% of the time.
All right, Casey the Wizard Ramos, joining a Recon Athlete here on episode 55. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucero is on his way. Casey is a top-ranked fighter himself, straight out of Austin, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Been in the game for a very long time since he was a wee little tyke, probably about 6 years. How old were you when you first started, Casey? About 6?
Man, actually, man, I was in the gym at 4. Literally, man. Like I was in the gym, they were, teaching me how to punch. I was going to all the shows.
Yeah, I
was weighing in. You know what I mean? They would let me, just to do it. So from about 4 to 7 years old, I was in the gym. Almost every day with my brothers, my dad. And also, this day and age is a little different, but back in that day, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
We didn't have it. It wasn't up to us. It was really forced on us. It was forced on me. But at the same time, I grew to love it, and it's giving me everything I got, man. And I wouldn't have done it any different way. So yeah, man, in the gym every day from 4 to 7. And every day since from 7 to 17, had 110 amateur fights. Turned pro at 17 with Richard Lord at the Fred Gomer Center, and got an interview with my man Snoop and Luke. At 17, my first interview on the beat, and had 25 professional fights over 10 years. Lost one time, controversially.
Yes, I will say
that. And man, I did it. I touched the top level, and we didn't make it quite as far as we wanted to take it, but hey man, I did more than most.
That's true, Casey. Yeah. And so again, back to this Wilder Fury matchup. Now, Deontay says he wants to go ahead and invoke that rematch clause and take on that third fight with Tyson Fury. I mean, and we were talking about before we got you on the line here, Casey, and Paul he's not convinced that Deontay can do anything different from now until the third fight comes along. I mean, is there anything that Deontay Wilder could do different besides not wear a 40-pound costume and walk half a mile before the fight?
Man, I mean, from what I saw, man, the gap in the skill level, huge. Yeah. Compared to the first fight, I think that has a lot to do with Fury switching trainers. He trains with Sugar Hill now.
Yeah.
A former protege of Emmanuel Stewart, and best have been some of the best since boxing has been around, and so training with people like that, making that switch, you can really tell the difference. You can really see because the first fight it was close and the rounds were really close. He got dropped a couple of times. Yeah. It just was kind of hard to tell who was winning the fight. And this time around, it was just no question, man. And that just comes from hitting the gym. Fury, he probably went straight to the gym. Maybe took a few days vacation. Did whatever he had to do, and then got a new trainer, and then went straight to the gym. Mm-hmm. And Wilder has been known to party.
Yeah.
He's been known to be out in the clubs and get drunk and party, and because he's the heavyweight champion of the world. That's what happened. That's also what happened to Andy Ruiz. He just became the heavyweight champion of the world, the first Mexican American, I should say, heavyweight champion of the world, and went out and partied it, man. I mean, who else? Who wouldn't?
Yeah,
it takes a special person to win the heavyweight championship of the world or any world title, and to maintain it. Right, and to maintain the discipline, maintain the training regimen of what got you there. That's what happens to these guys. They win titles, and they lose them, and that's it. And then they fall by the wayside. But the special guys, Canelo, Fury, mm-hmm. I might not say Joshua. I don't know. I think he parties a little bit.
Yeah.
But these top guys, Mayweather doesn't. Mayweather's got everybody fooled. That dude's out 2 or 3 in the morning. Mm-hmm. He may be at the strip club or he may be at the club, but that dude's drinking cranberry juice or water.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then guess what he does after the club at 2 or 3 in the morning? Goes to the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He'll be out 2 or 3 in the morning, but guess what he does right after that? Goes to the gym. Goes for a run.
Dennis Rodman used to do.
yeah. Dennis Rodman, man.
Hey, Casey, Zach Luceto just joined us. I think he's got a question for you.
Yo, first,
all right, yeah.
I'm sorry to break it to you, Chris. I guess that's why you'll never be one of the great ones. You just be partying too much.
I know, man. That's true, man.
And you don't be going to the gym after the club.
Yeah.
But bro, I just sprinted from my car. I'm parked in a towaway zone because I wanted to ask you. So where do these fighters go from here? Like who? I know Wilder. I think his girl said that they're gonna exercise that rematch clause. But Fury has talked about wanting to retire after his deal's over, and I think there's only 2 or 3 more fights on that. So scheduling wise and opponent wise, where do you think these guys go from here leading up to that rematch? Because I don't think they could rematch soon because that fight has no excitement to it because of how bad Wilder got worked.
Yeah, I mean that's true. And these promoters, they know that. They know what the market wants. They probably ran the numbers already. They probably ran the pay-per-view numbers first pre-fight. Mm-hmm. They ran the pay-per-view numbers post-fight. They're probably out there surveying fans. What do you think about this? Would you watch another? Would you watch a rematch, or who do you want to see Fury fight? These are all questions that the promotional companies already probably started working on. As soon as the fight got stopped, and then they probably got up out of their seat, went to their office, and started working on these things. And so that's hard to tell. That's hard to tell. But I can tell. I can only say what I can see happening, or what I would want to happen. Mm-hmm. And what I would want to happen, or what I think should happen, and that would be the best for the fans, is for Fury to fight Joshua. Mm-hmm. Next Fury to fight Joshua. I think it lines up, but I do believe Joshua is going to fight here soon. So I'm not sure what they would probably have to fight late in the year, and then just have the runner-up guys fight each other. Have Wilder and Ruiz fight each other.
Yeah.
And then maybe the winner out of that, maybe they'll get another rematch with the winner of Joshua Wilder. But knowing Top Rank, they're gonna make their decision. They're gonna be real careful, real strategic, just like how they were with Fury right after the rematch. Right after the first fight,
yeah,
they didn't go straight for the rematch. They milked it a little bit. They let the time go by. They got Fury a couple of knockouts, and then they tuned them up. They switched his coaching. They probably made him train in Vegas more than overseas in England. And, they put everything they had into him, put everything they had behind him, and he was ready, man. He showed. He was sweating. He was ready for the fight. I mean, Wilder was just dry. He wasn't sweating. He wasn't warmed up. It just, all these things go into it and have a factor in the decision-making of the promoters. But that's almost, it's not impossible. You can put some intuition into it, but, who knows, man? There's a bunch of up-and-coming heavyweights, too. There's
So
and there's another top ranked fighter, a young guy. Then he's the real big baby. They call him Big Baby. I think his name is Jared Anderson, and he was helping Tyson Fury spar. So they're not going to fight him. He's a top heavyweight, but they're not going to. That would be a good matchup, but they're not going to fight because they're in the same camp. It's probably still too early to fight each other. But yeah, I would like to see Fury and Joshua fight. That would be the best for the fans. It's hot, it's fresh.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't happen though. I don't know. It's just the way it is right now. But once again, Casey Ramos, the Wizard, joining us here on Recon Athlete, episode 55, talking about Wilder Fury. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucetto. Zach, I think you got one more question for Casey.
Yeah, so Casey, here's what I think is going to happen. So, all right, y'all going to need to write this down because I said it here first.
Okay, all right.
So I think
mark the tape.
I think we're gonna get that Fury Joshua fight just because that's like it. Like on paper, that's what matches up. And I don't think Joshua wants to fight him, and I think Fury knows he's going to beat him. So I think they fight. I think Wilder gets a couple smaller fights, gets some knockouts, goes and bees in Creed 4, the movie, and fights Michael B. Jordan and wins.
Okay.
So he's coming off 3 wins, including beating up the dude from Black Panther. And then for Tyson Fury's final fight on his deal, they fight the rematch, the rematch. Fury and Wilder in the UK. And that's Creed 6.
Yeah.
Creed 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Casey, man, I appreciate the time, brother. We'll try to get you here live, in the studio. I know you had to work today and stuff, and we'll try to get you on a Saturday morning show. We'll talk a little bit more boxing, and of course, we still got Recon Knuckle Up coming up with King Colunga, brother. So, Casey, I appreciate the time, man. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
Of course. All right, Primo. Y'all be cool, man.
Thanks, Casey.
Yep.
All right, so Casey Ramos.
I think Casey and Paul should fight. I thought he was talking about Paul. I thought he said the real Big Baby. I was like, dang, Paul, let me find out you've been boxing. Been like,
I wouldn't be this big if I was boxing.
You'd be the biggest baby. Let me call you that.
I'd be a real big. You better put me a pacifier with some juice on it.
He'd be like Madison Baumgartner of Secret Identity.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know that reference.
Let me shout out to our watch party real quick. Josh Reinhardt, Edgar Camacho, of course, King Colunga on there, Velma Aleman, Aaron Bean,
Me,
Zach, Justin Lott, Ronnie Rocha, Sarita, Zen Johnson Fuchs, and Nadine Matthews, Julie Galindo, and Kelsey Austin, and of course, Mandy.
Is my car going to get towed? I parked in the one like right next to Snoop on the little corner.
No, I think you'll be all right there.
All right.
I mean, we're going to be here for a little bit longer. So
and my shoes weren't tied, so I was like flopping trying to get up here.
Trying to run up here.
Because, man, I get tired of just talking to just y'all. So when we have a guest on, I'm like, I need to get on.
Yeah, man. I know. And Colunga said to call him too, but I don't know if you wanted to try to give him.
We can try.
Yeah, give King Colunga a call, man. He wants to talk a little bit about this Wilder Fury. I mean, it was a big fight, man. I tell you what, like I said in the pod before, like when we were talking about going up to this, a lot of people were interested in this fight. The first fight, nobody really knew who either these guys were.
I think a lot of people like stumbled upon that first fight, or like watched it on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but did y'all watch any of those pre fights? Did y'all see the tallest Mexican I've ever seen?
Yeah, he was like 6'4".
He was like 6'6".
Yeah.
Hello.
Colunga.
What up?
What's up, man? Hey, King Colunga joining us on the line now. Hey, bro. We just had Casey the Wizard Ramos on talking about this fight, man. But of course, we know you're one of the biggest fight fans there is. Tell us what you thought about the Wilder Fury 2.
Bro, man, like Fury, I already knew he was ready for this fight. Like all I saw, like I watched all the countdowns, right? I love to watch the countdowns before the fight.
Yeah.
And that boy Fury was serious, man. He wasn't letting no people come in and videotape him. He's straight up flat out. He replaced all his coaches for just straight power. He was getting fed a lot. He gained muscle mass for this fight. Like he was getting ready to KO this boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like, I already knew, man. Like Wilder didn't have nothing for this boy, and for him to call out the automatic rematch right away, it's stupid.
You think so?
I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid on his part. Like no lie, he needs a year of pure training, a tune-up fight before he even gets another rematch with that boy. Because it's going to be the same outcome. I'll tell you this right now. I'll call it out again, and he might knock him out even faster this next time around. I really think so, because Wilder ain't ready for them hands. Yeah, Wilder has that one-punch power. Everybody knows that. That's what he's been doing since the beginning, since he started boxing. That's what he calls out. He's the brown bomber. Like, dude, I had 6 people in my house going for Wilder, and I told all them fools at the end of the fight their mouths were going to be all open and they were going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
Because that boy Fury was ready, man. I was like, man, this fool's joking around in the back. He's chilling. He's joking around with his coaches. I was like, he already knows he won. Like, he's just trying to get that belt and that check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he donated all his first proceeds from the first draw fight. I was like, I knew he was going to be blessed with the victory.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
King Colunga is P-Rod, baby. Hey, man, listen.
What up, folks?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Good,
Hey,
man.
man, so look, we know Will Wilder comes into the fight real light, hold like 212.
Yeah.
And just getting a little feedback in my ear.
You got us on the speaker?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, you got to take us on speaker, man.
Let's go.
There you go.
Yeah. So, Wilder always likes to come in real light, and he's usually coming in like 212, 215. But on the weigh-ins, he came in like at 231. Now, do you think that extra weight on that frame, like he's not used to carrying, and that contributed a lot to maybe probably the lack of endurance? And we were talking to Casey, the Wizard Ramos, and how he was saying that, Top Rank, when they have a promotion that they're leading, they control a lot of factors. And do you think maybe extra walk time, maybe the weight of that suit, and the extra things that Top Rank required Wilder to commit to, in addition to that weight gain, do you think that played a real big factor in him not having the endurance, or maybe like a quick twitch?
Nah, I don't think so, bro. He a grown ass man. If he felt that suit was heavy in the back when he first put it on, and he knew it was going to be an issue, he could have took it off right there and then. You know what I mean? Like, it was just off of being flashy, trying to wear a 40 to 50 pound suit, walking out instead of trying to act fly. You know what I'm saying? And then you get your ass knocked out. Like, now he's coming up with excuses. He's trying to find everything in the world to reach for, but he ain't really admitting, like, okay, I got my butt whooped. Now I need to really like put that work in the gym. That's how you come back with it. That's how you're going to be respected. Now you're just making yourself look like a punk. If you're going to come up with a...
Do you think that body weight played a factor? Like, do you think...
Him gaining an extra 15 pounds? Nah. Yeah, his body looked toned and lean, and he looked swoller. I think he knew he needed to gain weight, because that's one thing that was a big factor in the first fight. Like, Fury was way heavier. Fury actually toned up, kept his weight up, and turned all that fat into knockout power. And I think he knew he needed to add some weight, so he probably put on an extra 15 to 20 pounds of muscle mass. But I don't think it messed with his endurance. Him getting his eardrum blown out, that's what had his equilibrium all going left to right. Like, he tried to say that wasn't a knockdown, but nah, bro, there was blood coming out that ear. Like, I think it was a solid punch. It was straight to right by his cheekbone and ear, and he just got caught. And I was pissed that he was giving his coach a lot of crap, but man, your coach is there to save your life, save your career, and not let you take any more damage. Yeah, you want to go down on your shield, but do you ever want to fight again?
Yeah.
That boy Fury would have thrown would have suffered some kind of brain damage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bro, and didn't I hear? I don't know if it's true in the reports. Didn't he let his top trainer go for doing that? Did I hear that correctly in the news?
I mean, I think he was talking about it, but I don't know if he did.
If he does that, oh, bro.
Yeah.
If he does something like that, man, hell to the no. I will never work with that fool ever again, and I hope he does get KO'd every single fight after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that that's probably an emotional reaction by him.
Yeah.
And, like he said, he wanted to go out, as a warrior, as a fighter. Didn't want to, get the towel thrown in. But I mean, the guy that did it, Mark Breland, he's a former fighter himself. I mean, he knows what it's like to be in there. He knows what it's like to take those type of shots. And
he also respected Fury that much to throw in that towel, because he knows what kind of fighter Fury is. Fury's going to keep coming at you. Mm-hmm. He's going to keep on throwing them hands. And he ain't trying to hurt Wilder. He wanted to KO him because that's what he said he was working for. But bro, dude, he was throwing them power punches, and I heard you talking earlier on the podcast saying that really Wilder only had those like overhand hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Fury was taking those shots like a G.
He was.
He was taking those shots like a G. I was like,
Yeah.
dang. I was like, that boy's taking that power too. I was like, I know they worked on that boy's neck and jaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't only work on the offensive, they worked on strengthening his defenses as well. Like, for him to take a shot, because I've seen Wilder punch through people's gloves, blocking their ear and their jaw and still get KO'd. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what kind of power he has. But Fury was like, oh, I'm going to shake that off because I'm still getting this belt.
All right, King Colunga joining us here on Recon Athlete episode 55. Before we let you go, bro, I appreciate you, calling in, man. It's good to hear from you, brother.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute. Happy belated birthday, bro. I'm sorry I didn't make it out there. I hope the party was a bad blast, though, bro. You don't look 40, bro. You about 24, 25. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give it to him out on the podcast like that, though. You know what I'm saying? And he got that stash going, bro.
Yeah, man. I got a little bit of facial hair going. I'm trying to, trying to go,
bro.
Trying to go out. Then I can't go all out like Paul. I ain't got it like that. But
you look.
Bro, I can't even do that. Grow while you can, man. I think I'm losing mine, so I might have to start going Vato Mexican for a little bit and shave my head. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, Colunga. We appreciate it, brother, and hopefully we'll get you in here in Paddock Studios sometime soon. If not, we'll get you on on the line, and we'll talk a little bit more boxing and fight game, man. We'll holler at you.
Oh yeah. All right, brother. You have a good night, man.
Thanks, John.
All right. That was King Colunga, John Colunga from Kreitz Market. Shout out Kreitz Market, our featured sponsor. Shout out to the social as well, and of course Focus Fit is Sam Marcus. And now's a good time to remind all of our listeners that we are going to have another Recon Athlete live show on April 26th, coming from Kreitz Market. We're going to be in the banquet room this time, and we're going to try to have some special guests out there. Hopefully some players from Lockhart High, maybe San Marcos High, and the surrounding community. Of course, myself, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Luceto, and Snupe Daniel will be there on April the 26th, live from Kreitz Market. All right, since Zach, you just kind of came in, right when Casey was.
I think we should have the first ever Recon main event should be Biggest Baby P-Rod versus King Colunga.
Should we do those big? Should we do the sumo things, or should we do the big the giant?
No, the giant boxing thing.
Giant boxing.
Yeah.
And have like a ring.
Yeah, a ring of barbecue, a sausage link ring. They should duke it out.
Just have like a little 6x6.
Yeah.
Little 6x6 made of sausage links, and with some big old That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. We're gonna try to make that happen. What do you think, Paul?
If you could get that organized.
No, I don't know, Paul. You don't sound very confident.
It's something I'm trying to find the vision for it.
You think Colunga will just wash you, or what? How come you don't sound confident?
So you got to understand two things. I've known John, probably 16 years, and the guy used to train Taekwondo and boxing.
So?
I didn't. And there's a difference.
Taekwondo? What do you think he's going to do? Pressure point you or something?
Do you even know what martial arts is with a pressure point? Man, I ain't trying to catch no foot to the face.
He's not going to kick you.
Man, I could get winded, fall to a knee.
Y'all both going to be winded.
Fall to a knee, baby.
Fall on top of him.
I'm
Squish him.
trying to fall down. I ain't trying to fall on nobody.
Man, I had a lot of faith in you until you started talking.
Dang. And then we can do me and you. Me versus you.
I'll just run around in circles until you get tired.
I don't get tired, man.
Hit you one good time.
Dude, get me tired, dude.
Yeah,
I'll
run between your legs. You're too slow.
I don't get too
Well, he is short enough to run between your legs.
That's true. So Colunga says, I'll take you, Zach.
I'll run around him once and he'll fall down. He'll get dizzy and throw up.
Oh, he said y'all ain't ready for the chorizo kingpin.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to be ready for the chorizo.
That's how I was trying to call the boxing ring the chorizo.
the chorizo ring. All right, Recon Athlete episode 55. We talked Wilder Fury. Shout out to Casey Ramos for joining us, and shout out to Colunga for coming in. And our other topic we wanted to touch on tonight was the Dak Prescott contract.
Hey, before we get to that, I want to talk about a topic y'all talked about a little bit when I was listening.
Sure.
How Happy birthday to Snoop.
Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, let's bring that up.
You talked a little bit about him being your roommate and good friend and all that stuff. I wanted to ask Paul, what was your how did you meet Snoop? What was your first interaction with him?
My first interaction was in 2007 when Snoop was the DJ on 104.3, and I would go to work in the morning. And I worked like early 7 o'clock, so I'm on the road and Snoop's on the radio and be like, I can't impersonate Snoop, but Snoop would do his thing, and if you hear Snoop on the radio, you know. And it's my time, son, my time right now. So, anyways, every day listen to Snoop, listen to Snoop, listen to Snoop. Well, then in 2010, Chris gave me a call one day. It was like, Chris knew I always followed high school football and this and that, and he was like, "Hey man, me and my friend at work were going to create this high school show called
it was Friday Night Fan Stand at the time. Yeah.
At the time, and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to be a part of it. And he didn't say who his friend was. And I get to the station, of course, we're at the station in Westlake, and I go upstairs and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's Snoop Daniel," and I'm like, "The Snoop Daniel?"
The Snoop Daniel.
And I'm like, "No, man, no." And I was like, and I remember I saw him and I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, man, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh,
that's really what he sounds like."
Daniel. I was like, "That's
that was
Snoop
a good
Daniel."
Impression. Yeah.
And I was like, "What's up, man?" Blah blah. And I was just like, "Dude, I used to listen to you in the morning." He's like, "Oh, thanks, man."
Yeah.
I was like, "Dang, dude, that's Snoop Daniel." And then from there on, that was my first experience to go from listening to him on the radio to having a surreal moment to meeting him in person was pretty dope.
Yeah.
So thank you, Snoop.
Yeah. Zach?
Well, I mean, I think for me, it's listening to a lot of you older, people older than me talk, you talk about I remember listening in the radio, on the way to work, blah, 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 about him. It's I never really knew him. I'm sure I heard him, but I never knew him as the radio Snoop. So he was always fan stand Snoop. So from the beginning, it was never really like a starstruck idol type of role to me. It was a mentor thing from the beginning, and I think, and I mean I was going into my senior year of high school, so it was a very I don't want to say impressionable, but a very important time for me. I remember going. I remember after my doing fan stand for the first time, I talking to my mom about where I was going to go to college, and I didn't know. And she was like, "Well, what do you like to do?" And we went and met with my college and career counselor, and I told him that how much I enjoyed doing the fan stand stuff, and that's what's led me to my degree, and that has everything to do with Snoop reaching out, and Snoop. I'm probably just desperate for people to call into the show, but I'd like to say him recognizing my.
Snoop's over there
my knowledge of the sport and my tweets and stuff, and made him reach out and I mean continuing to include me and involve me in things with fan stand and staying in touch and all these things with what I'm doing now with the horn. So I mean he's been an important guy to me. Getting to know him has been fun. Getting to know the Snoop off the mic.
Yeah.
Cause that's a crazy guy.
Yeah,
that's the radio personality is fun, but the real Snoop is crazy. So, and it's been fun, and I'm glad to continue a partnership with him.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Shout out to Snoop Daniel, his 29th birthday or 28th birthday. I'm sorry, according to Bumble. But yeah, I mean, I guess since we're sharing our stories, our first interactions with Snoop is mine is similar. When I first started working at radio station at Intercom, it was probably 06. And I was doing
1906,
1806, and I was doing. Snoop's not that old, man. I was, we're kind of dating Snoop now. Dang, sorry, bro.
Y'all are what?
We're dating him.
Oh, nice.
Congrats. No homo. He said it from way over there.
I was like, was that in my ear?
Man, no, I'm saying. I'm just saying when I first started working at Intercom. Shout out to Danger Russell Burgess, and shout out to Warren Rulin, by the way, who's on our. Watch party too. Warren says happy birthday, by the way, Snoop. I was doing promotions and doing it for Beat 104.3, and one of the things that we used to do for the Beat was in the morning time you'd have to go to you'd go to a zip code, right? And I think Snoop probably remembers this. When you go to a certain zip code and you pick just a spot in that zip code, and you would park the Beat van. and you just open up the back. You play they'd have the van all set up to where you could just play the music out the back of the van, and you just sit there and you give out T-shirts and hand clappers and whatever they had, whatever swag they had to people. But part of the job was to call in to call into Snoop in the morning and check in and let everybody know where you're at. So my first interaction with Snoop was when I went out to Longhorn Landing, and I remember this because shout out my homegirl Angela. She was working there at the time. Longhorn Landing off of Riverside Drive. I went over there. She was actually working. I was like, "Hey, can I park the van over here?" And she was like, "Yeah, She was like, "The beat, cool, yeah." And so I called in, and Snoop and I started talking, and we started talking college football like right away.
Jump.
Like off the jump.
Snoop don't even know college football.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Maybe it was Longhorn football.
No, we started talking about Florida. I think it was. I can't remember who it was. I can't.
Oh,
remember
this
who
is 06, 07?
Yeah,
so
we were talking
like Tebow.
Yeah, we were talking about something.
Aaron Hernandez is probably your favorite player, right?
Yeah, it was. And we started talking about football. So it was funny because we started talking football the very first time. We talked on air. And then, of course, 4 years later, we start Fan Stand. We're sitting in a meeting with a bunch of people, or not a whole bunch of people, with some producers, some marketing promotions people, and basically the general manager's like, "Hey, who wants to do a high school football show?" And it's basically me, Snoop, and Casey Johns are like the three people that raised our hands. And the best thing about it was they were like, "Okay, go ahead," and we were like, "Okay." And it's almost, and that was like the catalyst for Friday Night Fan Stand. And then, they just let Snoop go wild with Fan Stand ATX now. And he's done a wonderful job. So happy birthday, Snoop. It's been a pleasure knowing you, and been a pleasure being your roommate and, a mentee of his.
For sure.
All right, man. Let's get into this Dak Prescott contract real quick before we get out of here. I know the first time since September, Dak's representation met with the Dallas Cowboys today. Didn't really get anywhere, I don't think. Mike McCarthy was talking from the combine in Indianapolis. He was very positive, of course. He was talking about, I think Dak is a great player. I think that's, we need to get this done right away. I think that's just kind of,
song and dance.
Yeah, it's just what Mike McCarthy's supposed to be saying right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he just pretty much got there. But if you're the Dallas Cowboys, if you're Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, let's go ahead and get this done if you're going to get it done. To me, go ahead. Like just if you don't have a plan B, then just get it done so that you can allow your quarterback to go through spring training, go through all the OTAs, go through the two-a-days, learning the new system, because we've talked about it. This is going to take a while for him to learn this West Coast offense. It's not an easy offense to learn as a quarterback. So he needs this time. He needs this clear head. He needs to be focused. And I know his representation is supposed to be taking care of all that stuff, but you can't be a human being and not be involved with what's going on with your contract.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm not a Dak Prescott fan. I think it's been, clearly recorded here on all of our podcasts that I'm not a Dak Prescott fan. But if this is going to be who our quarterback is, and I'm talking about ours, like Dallas Cowboys, then go ahead and get it done and allow this man to go into the offseason with his head clear, knowing that this is where he's going to be for the next 4 to 5 years.
I don't know if Dallas can get this deal done. The reason I don't think they can is because the numbers just don't work with their budget. And I think that's what they're sticking to. They're like, we have a budget in mind for what we want to pay annually for a quarterback position. And right now, they understand that they want Dak Prescott to be their quarterback. But the real question is, do they need Dak Prescott to be their quarterback? And right now we're seeing everything in play because it's free. The free agency is fixing to hit in about 2-3 weeks. Because if everybody goes to market and the budget for the Dallas Cowboys is $33 million a year, you could go sign somebody like Tom Brady or Phillip Rivers. I don't think they'd go Phillip Rivers, but if Dak Prescott won't sign for $35 million over 6, then they're saying we're not going to pay you $40 over 6. It's just not going to happen because they're not going to. In my opinion, I don't think they're going to set the market for a quarterback that was drafted in the 4th round and has only won one playoff game. I don't even think that's going to be something in their wheelhouse, because you have to not only move forward with a quarterback that can't produce against winning teams, much less win against winning teams with a new offense that he doesn't even know or have any experience with. But if they franchise tag him, I think that's the nail in the coffin for Dak and the Dallas Cowboys. Because if you franchise tag him, you're going to franchise tag him a second time. Because I don't think he's going to be successful in the first year of that offense. In my opinion, let him go to market. If you need to sign somebody like Tom Brady who's available, take the 2 years, $66 million guaranteed. 2 years, $60 million guaranteed. Go win a Super Bowl and then go find somebody in the draft in the next 2 to 3 years. But right now, Jerry wants a Super Bowl. If you have to go to market with Dak and Tom Brady, I say take Tom Brady. You have better skill players and offensive line than Tom Brady had in the last 4 years in New England.
Can they trade Dak?
They can sign and trade.
Yes.
So I think they should go all in, get Tom Brady, trade Dak to move up in the draft somebody like a Tua, like a what's the dude name from Oregon?
Herbert,
someone like that. Let him sit under Tom Brady, like all these great quarterbacks have done. Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett, all these guys sit under Tom Brady, and then knowing that you only have Tom Brady for a year or two, and let him kind of groom your future quarterback in one of these guys. And I think that's, I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but I mean, Jerry's MO is he likes to make splashes in the draft, and I mean that would be a splash to move up and take someone like that.
Are y'all on my watch party?
What do you mean?
Because James Etheridge, shout out to James, he said Tua to Dallas, and that was like a few minutes ago.
Oh no!
And then Warren Ruland says, "What do y'all think of Brady with a Dallas 1 to 2 year deal?" And that was like right when you were talking about Tom Brady. So shout out to.
Shout out to that guy for stealing my ideas.
Yeah,
word.
Shout out to James and Warren for
Thank you for the contributions.
I know. Yeah, I was like, dang man. Like,
we didn't have access to your watch party. No.
Are you watching this?
They stealing?
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
But you really got to ask yourself, like,
right?
When it comes down to the sweet science,
it seems like the sweet science in the Dallas Cowboys front office is that the budget is set.
Yeah,
and they don't seem to be budgeting for it now. If this was Patrick Mahomes, if this was
the sweet science of Patrick Mahomes.
I think only Patrick Mahomes would be the quarterback that could garner a blank check right now from an owner. But other than that, I mean, the only Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to write his own ticket. Dak Prescott's a 4th round talent and done much.
And they got a lot of free agents. The Cowboys do.
Well, that's the thing is they need the budget so they can re-sign Amari Cooper and possibly Byron Jones.
Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb needs to retire.
They got Malcolm Smith. I mean, this list is extensive. I'm not saying you're going to want to sign all these, but
that list is expensive as well.
Yeah, extensive and expensive. Jason Witten, Joe Looney.
He needs to retire.
Xavier Su'a-Filo.
I don't know who that is.
Malik Collins, Christian Covington, Michael Bennett, Kerry Hyder, Robert Quinn, Sean Lee. You don't need Sean Lee anymore.
Robert Quinn can hop on the retire train.
Justin March, Malcolm Smith, Joe Thomas, Anthony Brown, Byron Jones, C.J. Goodwin, Jeff Heath. You know him. Is it Kevon Frazier, Darian Thompson, the kicker, Kai Forbath, and then your long snapper, LB Ladukor. I can't remember how to say his name. But, I mean, that's a long list of free agents. And then you got restricted free agents. You got Cooper Rush, Blake Jarwin, and defensive lineman Daniel Ross. I mean, that's, like you said, I mean, that's you got to do some budgeting here. And if that's the case, maybe Dak's not your guy. Like you said, franchise tag him. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, do the Dallas Cowboys have time to franchise tag Dak Prescott and let him flounder around next year? Well,
if they franchise tag him, he's not showing up until the season starts.
Well, I mean, that's why I like my idea is you're getting value for Dak. Plus, I think we've kind of seen over the last few Super Bowls that one of the winning formulas is to have a quarterback that's on his rookie deal. is to put all this money elsewhere. I mean, that's how you can pay Travis Kelce. That's how you can pay Sammy Watkins. That's how you can pay all these guys, all these weapons.
Oh, need some water?
No, I'm good. All those weapons that the Rams, all the weapons that the Rams had when they went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, the Carson Wentz, all those guys that they had around him. I just mean I think. Because, I mean, even the Chiefs are kind of having to reevaluate things now, knowing that they're about to have to pay Patrick Mahomes. And how do you continue to have a team around him like he's had when half of your salary cap is going to your quarterback? And I think that's what the Cowboys are doing, is that they did such a good job building up all this talent, but now they're coming to a point where they have to pay them. And you're having to ask yourself, like, is the talent around Dak what made us, like... what made them successful, or what made when people are talking about the talent on Dallas's roster, are they talking about everybody but Dak, or is Dak included in that?
Yeah,
and I don't know if you're able to keep both.
Right,
you're not going to be able. You can't keep Dak Prescott and sign Tom Brady, because that risk, you have to risk somebody taking on that contract in a trade with Dak Prescott, and if you're signing a big time deal, you might as well just let him go to market, because nobody's gonna accept that kind of contract with that level of performance that Dak's had in this season. So that's the only hiccup I see in that situation.
Yeah. So we don't really know. I mean, obviously, it's kind of up in the air what's going to happen.
Care.
Zach doesn't really care. But what do you? I mean, would you expect a franchise tag for Dak Prescott? Like, if you were to guess right now, Paul, what would you guess?
I'd rather sign Tom Brady than franchise tag Dak Prescott.
If you were to guess who takes the week 1 snap, who is it? Is it Dak Prescott, or is it not Dak Prescott?
I say it's Dak Prescott.
I say it's the field.
I say it's Dak Prescott.
All right. So Recon Athlete, episode 55. We're, wrapping this thing up, unless y'all got anything else for Dak Prescott.
Nope.
All right.
Who's that?
Other topics as assigned. I just wanted to get y'all's opinion real quick on this and see if there is an opinion. I know, Tim Tebow. He's going to play for the Philippines during the World Baseball Classic. Have y'all seen this?
For the Philippines?
How? Yeah.
Well, probably because he wouldn't have made the USA team.
Well,
so
my question is, what's the relation?
So
I think he was born there.
He was born there.
Is that right?
His parents were like missionaries.
So him and Snoop Daniel might be brothers.
Word.
They kind of look alike.
His parents were missionaries in the Philippines when he was born in 1987, and they moved to Florida when he was 3 years old. So now Tim Tebow is going to play for the Philippines in the World Baseball Classic. He hit his first home run the other day. I think it was against the Detroit Tigers in baseball. And is this? Do you think this is just something for that Tim Tebow's doing to just keep his name in baseball? Or
first of all, where do you buy a jersey? I would love a Tim Tebow Philippines World Baseball Classic.
Are you making
jersey.
a trade right now for the jersey, Chris Ozzie?
No, I still need a Packers jersey of some sort.
Okay.
But so as far as he could play for the Philippines in the Olympics.
He possibly could, yeah.
Or if they qualify for the Olympics.
Well, if they have the Olympics this year because of the coronavirus.
But I think that's like solidifies you for representing that country for like a set amount of time.
Yeah.
So if they ever add football to the Olympics, then he couldn't play for Team USA, so that's a really big bummer. I wanted him to be QB1 for USA.
Any opinion on this, Paul? You're not a baseball guy at all.
I'm just not, man. But
Tim Tebow is a football guy.
He's chasing the
baseball.
He's chasing the clout.
He's just chasing the clout.
That should be another Recon Athlete video. Is me taking you guys to the batting cages and watching y'all try to hit some balls.
We can do that.
Snoop, can we do that? We're gonna do Recon Athlete.
Snoop could go slap some balls. He's good.
Video at the
he loves baseball
at the batting cages. He says, "Yeah."
Where is there a batting cage around here? Because
you tell me wherever you want to go.
I don't know where they are, Chris.
I think there's an Austin Park and Pizza. I think there's some over there.
That's all I know.
I think Austin Park and
What
Pizza
does Topgolf have to do with anything we're talking about?
Something to do festive.
All right, don't want to shout out everybody that was, Casey the Wizard Ramos, top ranked boxer, for joining us, talking about Wilder Fury. Shout out to King Colunga for joining us today. Happy birthday to Snoop, of course. Shout out to Zach and Paul for here, and then everybody that was
shout out to BJ.
Was on our watch party.
We tried
to get him, man, but he didn't text me until like 2 minutes before we started, and he was like, "Oh, I just got home from work." I was like, "Dang, man, you be working
BJ,
too
you're
much."
Still my favorite. I still want you to adopt me.
Yeah. So hopefully he's out.
I've never even really talked to him. So this is funny.
Dude, BJ's great, man. He's cool. I mean, sometimes it's hard to get to shut up, but he's always has some
Maybe y'all should
knowledge.
fight on the recon card.
Me and BJ? Oh,
Yeah.
we fought before.
Yeah?
Yeah, we used to be
He
roommates.
beat you up?
We used to be roommates.
To give you a wedgie?
Nah, man. So BJ's not really he's not really like a fighter. BJ's a wrestler.
Oh, he
That's- I
pinned
can see
you.
BJ's a wrestler. Yeah. So nah, dude. No.
Put you in
That's
a leg lock.
That's not how it went. He tried. BJ used to when
Did
we used to
BJ
get-
mounted you?
We used to get into these little scraps, and BJ be trying to do all these UFC arm locks and leg locks and stuff. I'm gonna be like, dude, what are you doing, bro?
Watching too much Ultimate
That's
Fighter.
what he thinks. That's what Paul thinks
I'm like, bro.
Colunga's gonna do to him.
I was like, bro, what are you doing to me right now, man? Dude, come on, bro. This isn't cool. If we're gonna
It didn't hurt, but it was just awkward.
yeah. If we're gonna fight over the remote control, let's do real fighting, not whatever you're doing to me right now.
Chris wanted a box.
I mean, we're gonna do some boxing too. Let's get man. We got too many ideas. All right, let's wrap things up. Recon Athlete episode 55. Shout out to everybody that was on the watch party. Let me go back to the beginning. Of course, Snoop. Oh, Justin Lott, Ronnie Rocha, Sarita Fuchs, Nadine, Colunga, Julie Galindo, Kelsey Austin, Mandy Partita, Paul Partita, Roderick Ramos, Warren Rulin, Jesse Ivy, and of course Jackie Cruz. And hey, what's up, Jackie? And it looks like James Etheridge. Shout out James. Shout out Josh Reinhardt. What up, Rhino? Craig Way, and of course shout out Michelle Cunningham. What's up, Michelle C? Thanks for joining us. Warren, great show, guys. If Snoop makes contact with an 80-mile-per-hour pitch, I'm buying first round. That's what Warren says. 80-mile-per-hour pitch. All right, Paul.
None of y'all are touching 80 miles an hour.
What? For real?
Yeah, none of y'all will be able to touch that.
I'll bunt that hoe.
I don't even
Man,
know
we
if
got
can do that,
how many?
honestly.
Okay, out of how many
Bet.
pitches? Out of how many pitches?
Well, I mean, if 5, you'll swing and get lucky one time. 3.
3.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So you'll buy first round if one of us hits it.
Yeah.
Word.
Does it have to? Does it have
well,
to
that
be?
guy is
Does it have to be
first.
fair? Does it have to be fair, or can it be tipped?
It has to go.
He said
forward.
contact.
Has to go
It has to
forward.
go forward at least.
Does it go forward?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we take a couple first? Can you take a couple pitches?
You get 5 pitches.
Okay, 5 pitches and 3 swings.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got to do this thing.
Word.
All right. Be sure to join us on Saturday morning, 10:30. Shout out to Kreitz Market, The Social, and Focus Fit San Marcos. All right, Paul, do your thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all enjoyed the podcast, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Do you think Dak Prescott's going to get signed by the Dallas Cowboys? Yes or no? Always on YouTube. Hit the bell. We gone.